Hey everybody, it's social media producer Tom Barnes from the WGM Morning News. The Chicago scene in River North at one of the most historic restaurants in Chicago, the first steakhouse. They've been doing it since the 1940s, Gene Georgetti. Yep. They have endured a lot, as is every other restaurant in Chicago, with the looting and coronavirus and pickup orders and takeout. And they've tried to flex their muscles and expand their business outside, which they've done. Because I'm going to show you this real quick. That has never been the case before here. The outdoor space is something new, but there's a big looming problem, winter. And what do these restaurants do come wintertime? How do they survive? I'm going to talk to my friend who's the owner of Gene Georgetti, Michelotti, to see what they have in plan and the harsh reality of what is the restaurant scene in Chicago. So take a minute and listen, because this is a good message for all the restaurants in Chicago and how we need to support them. That is the Chicago scene for today here at Gene Georgetti. All right, and I'm with my friend Michelle Durpetti. How are you, Michelle?
I'm okay, hanging in there.
Yeah. So why don't you, you're an owner of one of the oldest restaurants in the city of Chicago, and you've had to pivot like you've never had to pivot before. This opened up in 1941 ahead of World War II,
Yep.
And this is still different than that.
Yeah, the building is actually from 1874, so we're about as old as it gets here in Chicago. The wood is actually from the Chicago fire. It's left over from that. So literally we sort of came to be as Chicago sort of was reborn at that time. So these last few months we've kind of been joking, like the amount of pivoting necessary has caused a little bit of motion sickness at this point.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're just constantly looking for that next thing that's going to help you get that next inch. Because everything you're doing, you're barely moving the needle. It's inch by inch for survival.
And one of those things that you have done inch by inch is this very window that we're standing outside.
Yes.
This, like you said, this building's been here for a little bit of time, and you guys kind of just started using it now, right?
Yes, it's so funny that you say that, because so many regulars saw this and literally said to me, when did you have time to put in windows? And so these have been a part of the building the whole time.
Yeah.
And about probably in May, I had said to my husband, Colin, we need something. At the time, we didn't have an outdoor dining permit. We needed something that could connect us to the outside. Diners were not allowed to come in or out at that point. We were barely surviving off delivery.
Yeah, this is also new. Since you mentioned it, I'm just going to show it real quick.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
no
keep
problem.
talking, but I just wanted to show it.
Yeah, no, so we needed to do something, and I had lived in Florence for many years in my 20s, and these wine windows were a thing. They're actually writing a lot of articles about them now. They're these little architectural treasures in Florence. You walk up, and during the plague in medieval times, and even in the 1600s, you could go up to a window and get wine, and there was limited contact. So it was like their pandemic at the time. So I was inspired by it, and I thought, you walk up to a window, you order coffee, maybe to go. This could be our carry-out window. And then there was conversation then about cocktails to go becoming a thing as well. So I thought, great, we could run cocktails out the window too. So lo and behold, now we have a window.
Yeah, look at this. You got the window, and you branded it Bar Ida.
Yes. Ida is my grandmother, so she's Gene's wife. And she was actually born across the street before this apartment building was here. She was born in the property across the street.
In the giant apartment building.
Yes.
Yeah, this place has kind of seen this neighborhood rise up around it.
Yeah, 100%. Between us and the Assumption Church, we're sort of the stand. We've sort of been here the whole time, kind of like the standard.
Throw it around real quick, because I want to show the church.
Yeah.
That's back in the background there with your tables outside.
Yeah.
And the Mighty L.
Yeah, which has become an active participant in our alfresco experience.
Right.
So we launched the window about the same time. We were also working on, the outdoor dining. We spoke with Lavazza, who is our coffee provider, and the window was born. So now you can see we have like espresso, cappuccino, lattes. We have all the different coffees. You can get them hot or iced. We do our own iced tea, which, the board sometimes features specials that we're running. We have a full breakfast menu that
Which is crazy for somebody who's been coming here for a long time to be like, wait, Gene Georgetti's doing breakfast?
Yeah, steak and egg,
Yeah.
right?
Hey.
And breakfast sandwiches.
I'm sure some said about time.
Yes, some people, yeah, for sure. The breakfast is actually one of my favorite menus here. I love it. Mainly because I love anything Italian. So our cornetti, it's actually like a croissant. It's kind of like a breakfast pastry. They're filled with like a crema, chocolate, sometimes hazelnut. the dough actually comes to us from Italy, and then we bake them fresh every day, and they go great with morning coffee. So a lot of this area now in River North are these apartment buildings that you were just looking at, and so many of the residents now look to us as like their neighborhood walk-up coffee place.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, just by being outside and even doing a segment like this and being outside and entertaining your customers, or your guests rather, you see people driving by, and it has brought back some of that neighborhood feel that probably was what 1941 was all those years ago.
You know, we were always a neighborhood restaurant, and then over time, you know, you start doing volume. We used to do 700-800 covers a night on a Saturday. It was a pretty normal Saturday night for us. Now we're limited. We do maybe, I think last Saturday was a really great Saturday for us at about 139 throughout the course of dinner service. So it's very much changed the rhythm because we were so volume based. When we did the window and then eventually got the permit a couple weeks later for the outdoor dining, what happened was we started coming out of the restaurant and reconnecting with all of these residents. And between the fire we had in October of last year and then the pandemic, so many of the residents were looking for us to come out. They'd see us like when we were painting the stairs to get ready for this.
Yeah, sure.
You know, they'd be like, how can we support you? We love you. Please don't leave. And so even
that, and then the looting, even helping you clean up the broken glass, and people really being worried because it's not just their apartments or their things. It's a place like this and other places they also have ownership over. Right?
Yeah, and I think it became sort of this really great love letter from G&G out to the neighborhood as a thank you for the fact that they had been showing us so much love. I mean, for years, but specifically the last several months. So that has definitely been a silver lining to all of this. And now we have G&G al fresco for the first time in 79 and a half years.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people who might not know G&G, who are maybe new to the city, or just people coming of a certain age who really want to dive into what it is to be in a classic Chicago steakhouse. Yeah. I think we should show them the inside a little bit and get a little kind of version of what makes you guys. You guys. Yeah. Well, that didn't sound more Chicago than that, huh? Hey, what's you guys? Let's go inside. And this is the famous bar that is inside Gene Georgetti that's been here for a long time. I mean, this is history right here. Right?
Certainly. We are currently closed.
Hence why you got the mask off.
Correct. Just wanted to say that. You know, we follow all the safety protocols. But yes, this is our very storied bar, as I mentioned outside. You're standing in an original wood frame building that was built in 1874. Just to give you a quick overview of the history of the restaurant. So Gene was my grandfather. Georgetti was his business partner. They owned and operated this restaurant together, with Gene being the barback at the onset and Georgetti being the original chef, until about 1969 when Georgetti passed away. And I'm really excited, Tom, I don't know if you know this, we actually have a photo of Georgetti on the wall now, which took me a while to find. It's from my parents' wedding.
No, I didn't. Oh.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. He's like kind of back with us, which was really important.
Yeah, because it was kind of a missing little tidbit.
A little bit, yeah, for sure. So they ran it together until 1969, and then Gene ran it by himself until 1989 when he passed away. And upon his death, my father, Tony, and my mother, Marion Derpetti, bought the restaurant from my grandmother, Ida, who I mentioned outside with the coffee window. And so they have owned and operated the restaurant since 1989.
So basically it's been in the family for a long time.
Yes, I'm the third generation. Yeah, of 4 generations actually that are in the industry, because my family is kind of throughout the restaurant industry in Chicago and Illinois.
And you guys also have a Gene Georgetti spot up in Rosemont as well. But this is the flagship. This is where this right here made it famous. So
this is how, this location is what allowed us to open Rosemont. This is what made us Chicago Steakhouse. And what you're looking at is, one of our signature items, which is our strip, which, we charbroil all of our steaks. We don't really let a lot get between the steak and our customer, so they're just lightly seasoned, and that's kind of our mantra. It's what we believe in. We're not big into putting a whole lot on the meat. The quality that we purchase kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, and I can attest, it's fantastic. And then this is something kind of cool. This goes back to you guys being family-owned and family-driven. Why don't you explain what we're looking at?
So Chicken Joe is one of our signature dishes. Many, many moons ago, the story goes that one of our servers, Joe Pacini, who is now retired, had a customer who asked for a roasted chicken dish with a little kick. So Joe went back in the kitchen, spoke to the chef, and Chicken Joe was born, which is a combination of sweet peppers, pepperoncini. All of it kind of finishes in the broiler, so the chicken kind of sears from the outside in, leaving it really juicy. And like I said, there's some kick to the dish because of the pepperoncini in there.
Yeah, and the other thing that is huge on the menu is the garbage salad, which people have seen all over throughout the country, seeing the term garbage salad, but it started here.
There are many interpretations of the garbage salad. We have had this on our menu since 1941.
Since 1941, so you were first.
Well, I mean, logic would argue perhaps we were at the beginning of the line, and it's essentially one of my favorites because it's kind of like a hoagie or a sub chopped into a salad minus the bread. You've got salami and cheese and olives, they shrimp, radishes, peppers, iceberg lettuce, and they finish it with their signature house oil and vinegar dressing. And I mean, it's one of my favorites. It's very filling, and it's one of my favorites. And I'm not even a real salad person, and I love this one.
I know. I've been here, and I've had all three. So, I mean, I can attest it's really great.
Well, it's funny that you say that because we talk a lot about how much you love to eat here, which, of course, we really appreciate. But I don't know, have you had our coffee yet?
No, I haven't. I have to try out the window before I take off and grab a coffee. But before I do that, I just wanted, just on a serious note, like the restaurant industry is under attack.
Yes.
Just for many reasons outside of coronavirus and all that goes into it, right? Like, so can you just tell people, and not that you have to speak on behalf of all restaurants, but just speak on behalf of Gene and Georgetti, like where we're at and how serious this is?
I'm so glad that you asked that question because this is something that's our coffee window. This is something that is really something we feel every single day viscerally. And this is what I could say to you. We are hanging on in the industry as a whole, but specifically to us, we hang on off the edge of a cliff by our fingernails every day. We're at 25% occupancy here in Chicago, and we still have 100% expenses. Through no fault of this restaurant or the customers that we'd love to welcome in, there's a little bit of distrust, right? Because indoor dining is considered uncertain for many. And we understand that, and we don't judge it, of course, but it also impacts how we're able to do business. We have to pay staff, we have to pay bills, and 100% bills on 25% occupancy revenue isn't realistic. So it's hard. This summer we got a little bit of a bump from our 36 seats that we have outside. There's 9 tables. We weren't as fortunate as other locations to go out onto a street or close an entire, city block. So we have 9 tables we've depended on to get us this far. And with fall, last week was a perfect indication because it rained and fall kind of came out of nowhere. And we felt it. People didn't really want to come inside. They weren't coming outside because of the weather, and it was a really scary, draining week. So
especially with winter looming ahead.
Yes, and what I would say to people is I don't think that we're going to get back to where we were overnight, but inch by inch, a little bit of restaurants continuing to dedicate themselves 1,000% to communicating all of the protocols in place, how hard we are working to create a safe and comfortable environment. I think that's part of it. I think customers need to start learning, people in general living with the virus, and step by step with where they're comfortable. If they can order delivery, great. If they only are comfortable outside, understandable. If they'd be willing to come inside and try it out, we'd love to welcome you in for you to experience what we're doing here. It's just inch by inch. That's going to take time, which is not something that restaurants have a lot of.
Right.
So the more people can do, the more likely they will be to see their favorite restaurant on the backside of this whenever that happens.
And for people to follow the story of Gene and Georgetti, where can they follow you guys on their socials?
So we are everywhere on social now. Our delivery website is gngtogo.com for delivery and pickup. Our grocery to go is on there as well. You can follow us on Instagram at Gene_Georgetti. Same address on Twitter. We're both of our restaurants, Gene and Georgetti Chicago and Rosemont, each have their own Facebook page, so you can find them there. And then, of course, geneandgeorgetti.com tells our story and everything.
Because there's much more to tell outside of what you told me, just the incredible legacy of Civil War era information.
Yeah, I mean, we are 79.5 years old, and something we talk about a lot in my family right now is for lack of a better way to say it, we took for granted that the restaurant would always be. We've celebrated and marked every milestone anniversary. You've been at most of them, 65, 70, 75. Here we are at 79.5, and we don't know if we'll make it to 80.
Right.
We have
and that's
every
legit.
intention.
That's real.
No, that's a real thing. And I don't think enough people really understand when they see, oh, the restaurant industry is hurting, oh, we're in crisis. Like, it is real. It is, and you will see in the next 30 days, I think. I hope not, but I fear we will see some very awful changes and sad realizations manifest, unfortunately.
Well, we'll stick with you. We'll follow you. We'll order and we'll eat. So, and coffee, which I'm going to go and hop outside right now to go get. Okay. Michelle, thank you for sharing your story and the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, we'll see you later. I'm going to go get my coffee. All right, there you have it. Gene Georgetti in River North since 1941. Outside dining, the whole thing. And also, they have a coffee window, which is where I'm at right now with my friend Yanni. Yanni, what do I got to go here?
There you go, Tom. This is a hot latte for you.
Hot latte?
Yes, sir.
And is it your favorite? You love it?
Me, I'm more of a regular hot coffee guy.
Regular hot coffee. Well, I'll take this one either way. So thank you, Yanni. I appreciate it. I'm going to take this.
You have a good day.
And I'm out here. Thank you, sir. So there you have it. Gene Georgetti's. Support your local restaurants, because if we don't, they're just not going to be here. And we want them for generations to come. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.